is week 17, day 5. It is 8:38 a.m. I have already eaten breakfast, just finished it a little bit ago. So that meal prepping yesterday did actually help out, and I do have lunch still remaining. Um, oh man, I did make some mistakes yesterday though. So for day 4, I did kind of get a little 15-minute extra exercising in. Around 1:35 p.m. I ended up taking um, a little bit of C4, maybe 20 to 30 milligrams worth, which I knew was a bad idea, but I needed a little energy boost from waking up so early. You know, I was getting a little fatigued and like anxious and nerves, a little stress, kind of like dipped my energy um, in the afternoon. And so maybe the meal I ate too, I don't know, but I was kind of feeling not so sharp. And so I get outside to go and do the interview. Well, at 1:35, I was like, let me have a little caffeine, because I was going to wait later, but I was like, let me have a little bit. And I measured the amount that I would drink down to, and then I drank a little bit past it accidentally. And then I was like, let me get in a little bit of a workout to burn off a little bit of the nerves, so I'm not just like sitting around thinking about it. So that was the whole plan with that. I was like, let me get some caffeine in me, about a little 20-30 minute kind of exercising. I'd had my alarm set for 15 minutes before the interview time, and so I basically did 15 minutes of lifting extra. So yesterday I ended up with a total of 58 minutes of exercising once I added that extra 15 minutes near 1:35 p.m. And then I ended up going out to do the interview, out to the car, and I go out there and I wait. I prepare my little notes and review my little notes, and I wait, and it gets to 2:30. I call the recruiter. It goes to voicemail. I don't leave a voicemail. And then like 1 minute later I text him saying, hey, I'm available. I waited like 15 minutes, maybe a little more than 15 minutes or so. I didn't hear a word back, and so I just assumed, maybe I should have waited longer, like 30 minutes, but I'm like, at that point, I'm like, if you're not responding and you probably don't remember the interview, I just blocked the message. I just blocked them at that point, because I'm like, I don't want to try to reschedule, because on my end too, if somebody's not organized, that's going to affect me. And it wasn't a cop-out. I don't think it was a cop-out. It's kind of like also me being like, I know how stressful it is to work for someone who's not able to organize themselves. And if this is an early phase where they can't even organize, it might not have even been real, but if this was an early phase where they couldn't even organize to do the interview that they had scheduled me, that we talked about before the weekend, and they reached out to me first, and they didn't reach out to cancel or reschedule or like even notify me if they're going to be late. I think 15 minutes is generous to wait when you're on a schedule, because I had other things I needed to do too. I was like, dude, I'm in the middle of other stuff, and I was studying and things, and I'm like, I don't want to wait around for this person. So I just decided I'm not gonna wait. Like, I don't feel bad about it. Maybe I could have gotten the interview if I would have waited 30, 40 minutes. Maybe they would have circled back. But I'm like, I'm in the middle of doing other stuff, and I've got steps to take to try to reach, and my energy's already not exactly where I wanted it to be. And it is kind of stressful to be waiting around all day. So I guess I've kind of learned a bit of my own lesson, and I don't really think I want to schedule interviews late in the day, because I waited all day, and even though it was 2:30, I waited all day, and I feel like I could have done more stuff after lunch, like I kind of just didn't do anything after lunchtime because I was like, I want to reserve my energy and make sure I'm not like, burning the candle at both ends too much. But that impacted my sleep last night, and I ended up not really sleeping too good because I had the caffeine late, and I knew it was a bad idea to have the caffeine, but I was also like, I need to prioritize the interview over sleep. I can afford to lose sleep, but it kind of sucks that the interview never even happened. So I ended up kind of caffeinating for the interview and then not even doing the interview. But I didn't have way too much. It's just really strong, and I don't really have anything that really. I didn't have a good sleep routine. I kind of did. I was online, like kind of chatting, and then near 10:30 something, I did have lights out early. I did have melatonin early. I didn't have a lot of CBD because I'm noticing with this one, my stomach is kind of weird. But I ended up having melatonin over 3 different periods of time. I think near like 9 p.m. I had about 3 milligrams, maybe around 10:30 or no, maybe like 11:30, and then again around like maybe 12:30 or 1 a.m. when I was still up. I ended up watching 2 stupid movies. I watched this movie called Yonkers. I feel like I've seen it, but it wasn't memorable. And then I watched Oxford Blues. They were both free, kind of poor quality on YouTube. It wasn't like YouTube's videos, it was somebody else had posted them. But I noticed you can find kind of like old movies on there that you can usually watch for free. So sometimes if I'm up late, I'll find something from like the 80s and just watch some random 80s movies. But they were like stimulating enough, I think, to keep me awake. And I figure 1:30 a.m. while it's late, it's not that bad. It's very late for me because I was up around 5 something in the morning, 5:30 something yesterday, but 5:30, 5:40. But that's how I'm coming into this morning. It's just it was some kind of a little bit of not so smooth of a day yesterday, but I'm not like too overwhelmed by it. The cycle situation is feeling better. Last night I did kind of feel a little nauseous. There was a point where my stomach felt a little nauseous, and I don't think I did good on my dinner. So yesterday's meals, I had the breakfast that I talked about, the corned beef hash, eggs, strawberries. I had that again this morning. Just maybe less strawberries because we only had 3 left, so I ate the last 3. I had a little bit of that probiotic with breakfast and lunch. I don't remember. I think I had some with dinner. And then I had that pesto rotini that I made for lunch with a little bit of that orzo Mediterranean salad. And it was alright. There was a lot of carbs, I guess. And then I had 2 sloppy joes on what are those buns? On those Dave's Killer Bread hamburger buns. And then one had a slice of Swiss cheese, the other had like half a slice of cheddar. And I think the cheese maybe did me in, as well as possibly the meat, as well as possibly the 3 gummy sessions with the melatonin last night, because 2 of those gummies is 3 milligrams. So I ended up over the entire last night of trying to sleep, I ended up with about a total of 6 gummies. I really don't think it's good intestinally for me to be having gummies. But yeah, I kind of felt like a little. They were having some trouble going down, and then at a certain point, and then I did notice a little bit. Like I didn't vomit, but I almost felt like I was going to for like. The sensation probably lasted like 60 seconds or so. Um, but that stomach little situation is kind of still happening in the same, pretty much in the same exact area of my stomach. So I do think maybe it's some of the gummies. Um, I don't know what else, but I'm having some strange like gut issues. I wasn't really having stomach pain, hardly at all. I think I had a little bit yesterday afternoon, but I think I did have a little bit of CBD yesterday, kind of before the afternoon. So I'm kind of linking a little bit of these stomach situations with those CBD gummies. Why I keep taking them, I don't know, but I mean, it's just kind of like I'm kind of used to having that kind of stuff in my system at this point, so I might need to figure something else out, but I don't know. Like it's kind of one of those things that like it's so temporary that I'm just kind of like leaving it alone. Like I'm not like feeling like it's too big of a deal, but I am recognizing that it is happening often. Weird little stomach issues often. Yeah, I'm gonna be tired today. I already know it. I did take caffeine this morning. I had some C4. Let's call it 50 milligrams. Yeah, for breakfast I had the corned beef hash and made a couple over easy eggs with the strawberries. And then, well, I don't put strawberries in the eggs. It's all like, it's all separate. But yeah, just heated up the corned beef hash and the little half yam, so that was easy. And I forgot to mention I had with dinner some zucchini slices, kind of like, they weren't deep fried, I guess they were kind of just like pan seared, I don't know what you call it. They were pretty good. So I put some of those with the pesto rotini I'm gonna have for the leftovers today. And but yeah, I think I shouldn't have had two of those sandwiches. I'm not sure if the beef was organic. I thought the beef was organic. I didn't really read the packaging. I saw it, but that's why I say it's kind of hard for me to kind of combine my meals with somebody who's kind of eating differently, because we both kind of cook, but sometimes we both cook for more than one person, and sometimes we just cook our own individual meals. So I was like, well, somebody made sloppy joes last night. They made the meat and the zucchini, so I was like, I just ate it because I was like, why not? You know, it's already there. But I am trying to pay a little more attention to beef. Because once you start going like with the organic and healthier types of meats, and then you kind of circle back to like the kind of cheaper quality stuff, like it does, you do notice an impact. At least I do. I definitely notice an impact. But this morning I did have some ginger dandelion tea. I put a little bit of acacia honey, but it wasn't enough to really even taste it because the tea was pretty strong. And then I had, instead of making a whole glass of that probiotic, I put it like half a glass because I've noticed the past couple days when I've had it, I didn't finish it all, so I don't want to waste it. I put half of a scoop in half of a glass, and then some cold water in there, and kind of drink that after the tea, and then I ate breakfast after that. So, I don't know. I think it does help me with the intestinal stuff in the mornings and things. Like, I kind of pace around, walk around a little bit, and kind of get everything kind of in motion. Get myself kind of moving around, and try to make sure I get in a good bowel movement before breakfast, before I'm like adding food on top of what's remaining from the previous time. But I do feel like I need to either eat a little lighter or eat a little higher fiber today and clean out a little more intestinally. I think I might actually need that, because My intestines have been going through a lot. um, but I'm trying, you know. It's like I don't know what other method to use. It's like, and I don't like buying stuff and then being like, this isn't really helping me. It's like having some other issue going on, and then wasting all this money on, like I got melatonin. It's pretty new. The CBD, it's pretty new, and so I don't want to just like not consume them. Like I'm already kind of putting down the hemp seed oil. I put that away. It does say it needs to be refrigerated. That's why I kind of decided to leave it alone because I never refrigerated it. I can't like comfortably put it in the fridge. Well, if I do, I'll have to take the label off of it. So, um, I might do that today. We'll see. If I can take the label off, I might just stick it in the fridge. But I don't know. It's kind of risky having like hemp related products in the house. Like I know if it's visible, people get nosy. They don't really know what it is. You know, they're very kind of anti anything they don't understand in this house. Completely sober people. They're not into even alcohol. They don't even drink. not even at like a wedding, or if somebody offers them a drink, they don't drink. They're not into drinking alcohol. They're not. I don't know. The last time I was somewhere at a wedding with family, they tried to like. One of my aunts tried to buy me a drink, and my family was like, "No, you don't drink," and I was like, "Yeah, I do." And then I asked if I could go to the car to get my ID, because my aunt was having trouble finding her ID, and then they wouldn't even give me the keys to go to the car to get my ID. Like they were trying to like stop me from drinking, but I was kind of like, you know, this is my body, like, and I'm an adult. Like I was like in my 30s. It's like you're not gonna tell me I can't have a drink. You're not gonna tell me I can't have a drink with my family member. You know, to me it's kind of like I notice it is like a social thing, and if somebody offers you a drink, you know, and you're not like against it, it is customary to be like, yes, you know, even if you don't drink at all, it's just a customary thing, you know. She was trying to do me a favor, and I accepted it, so I'm not going to be like, oh, you're right, I don't drink. It's like, well, I do drink, and at that time I was drinking plenty on a regular basis, so I wasn't against it. But it's stuff like that where I'm like, I'm kind of in a household of people who kind of don't even want that, you know, around. They try to not really take too much stuff, but they do have problems with, you know, not exercising too much and overeating and eating too much snacking. Like, I'd say their addictions are in another direction with, like, you know, the foods, like bad health choices, just kind of not really able to control that. Like, those are kind of their vices. And staying up late and doing all those kind of things. Like, their vices aren't necessarily like taking substances of any kind, but they kind of use food and like leisure as more of a substance. Just kind of like spending a weekend lounging around, watching TV, watching sports, like all weekend, just laying around, staying up till like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. You know, not exercising every day, or even more days of the week than not. That kind of thing. Like they don't like actively lean into like a healthy routine. And they're older, but I mean, and I also don't want to like have everybody waking up early in the morning with me because I like my time in the morning alone. But yeah, I do notice, you know, last night somebody was up probably around 10:30, probably around 12:30, probably around 1:30, like almost every hour, every couple hours, somebody was up for the bathroom. So I'm kind of like, you know, I know they're not like taking care of themselves, and then they sleep in late, and they don't eat healthy. Like, I've been getting on people about buying like big boxes of snacks and things, and finally, they've kind of stopped that for the most part. Now we've stocked up on like Kind bars and things like that, but before that they were kind of really going heavy on the Cheetos and Doritos and stuff, and I was like, in the Oreo, like those boxes of like variety Oreos and all these variety snack boxes with like 64 bags of chips or like 24 varieties of cookies and things, and it's like, and I was eating it a little bit because it was in the house, but I was like, this is mostly all being eaten by one other person. And as we have plenty of family members going in and out of hospitals and in and out of procedures and having all these health diagnoses, like I've got a whole generation of family with a bunch of diagnoses, and I'm like, I don't want my folks on that list of, the family calls where people are kind of like, oh, we're praying for so and so, they're going back for this, or like their doctor said this and they've got to go in for this surgery, or they've got this thing going on. Like, I don't want that for my folks, but it's also, I can only nag so much. But before I was nagging more because it was affecting me, and that's one thing. I don't really like other people's lifestyles affecting me, so it is kind of easier when somebody cooks meals, but it's also kind of like, sometimes I'm like, I know I shouldn't have eaten 2 sloppy joes last night, but in my head I was also like, I was feeling hungrier than usual, because I don't think I even ate light yesterday, but I was feeling a little hungry, so I was like, let me just eat 2 instead of 1, and I told myself it was like a carb load for the morning, and then I'm like, realistically, am I really doing that much cardio this morning? No. But that's pretty much how yesterday went, coming into today for day 5, so I don't know what I'm gonna do for my workout today, but I'm kind of in one of those moods where I'm like, I'm so tired because I really didn't sleep enough. I'm kind of just gonna wait. The neighbor's gardeners come around 12, maybe 1 p.m. So I'm gonna try to get as much done as I can before then, and then just kind of take a break in the afternoon, I guess. But yesterday started super early. Today's not starting. It's starting later, but I did buy myself a little time because I didn't have to cook. So, well, I cooked a little, but like making eggs is not that much of an effort. It's not that much energy to do that. So, while I have a little caffeine in my system, I want to try to get a workout in, and then kind of see maybe what's going on otherwise. I'm not sure what the temperature is supposed to be today. Let's see if I can check. It says high is going to be 74. Right now it's 65. So it's going to be cloudy till about 11, and then around 1 p.m. it's going to start getting, around 11 and 12 is going to be a little partly cloudy, and then around 1 p.m. it's going to be sunny. So it's going to go up to 70 around 11, 72 around noon, 74 around 2 p.m., down to 73 around 4 p.m. Then by 7 p.m. we're going to have 68 degrees, and sunset is 7:08 p.m. So, and while I'm talking to you guys, I'm kind of getting in my stretches. I was in like a slight amount of weird pain last night. It wasn't very significant. Like, it was noticeable. It wasn't joints. It was kind of like, I have noticed that left side, back of my shoulder blade kind of issue, kind of that rhomboid type of thing. I have noticed that when I'm stressed, that does kind of flare up. I do need to kind of do extra stretching. Maybe this morning I'd probably benefit from doing a lot of yoga. I don't really want to. Sometimes I'm like, I really don't want to be sitting alone with my thoughts. But I might need to just keep today just lifting in yoga or something. Do a whole lot of downward dog. Like, that kind of gets the arms worked out pretty good. But I don't know. I'm so tired, I think I could actually just go back to sleep, even with all this caffeine in my system. So, I don't know. I don't want to waste my morning, but I don't know. I feel like I should get in at least 30 minutes of something, even if I'm just kind of going through the motions. I don't really know though. Or maybe I should just meditate. I don't know. I don't really want to skip today, and I did caffeinate, so that was kind of maybe not the biggest, maybe not the best and brightest idea. But I wanted to get up. I wanted to get rolling. I don't really know. I'm kind of like, it's still pretty early, kind of. Not really. It's 9:04 a.m. But I don't know. Okay, I'm kind of sleepy. I don't know. Maybe some yoga would do me some good. But I don't know how to explain the small amount of pain I had. I'd say if one is like, on a scale of 0 to like 10 is like, I'd say when something's at like a 4 or 5, I'm probably taking something for it. I'm probably gonna try to have like an Advil or take something that's gonna like help the pain. Even with the little stomach thing, I considered a Pepto, but I was like, no. Like, it went away, so I was like, no, I just won't. And I was like, kind of half asleep. But I was having a little bit of pain before that. Like, I don't know where it even was. I don't even remember. It was like random parts of my body. I'd probably say it was 2, maybe 2 to 3. Like, it was noticeable, and I was kind of like, what is this? Like, it wasn't like normal. It felt like some weird inflammation, but I don't think it was from my workouts or anything. I really don't know where it was coming from. It might have been a stress thing from staying up too late. I was kind of maybe just like overexerting myself, even though I was laying down. I felt just kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it. It just felt weird. And it didn't last longer than maybe like an hour or 2, but it was noticeable. Like, I was noticeably feeling like some kind of response to something. And I probably think it was just because I was staying up late, and I was pretty exhausted. I was tired. I was trying to sleep a little bit, but I was dozing in and out of sleep, so I was sleeping very lightly, kind of slightly stressed. I do think I might need to lean more into like yoga and meditation, because I know it's good for me, but I do kind of avoid them a little bit because it is kind of a little bit distressing. Sometimes I get a little distressed with it. Like, I don't mind low stimulation stuff, but sometimes low stimulation stuff isn't helpful for me. Like, sometimes I need a distraction, and that's kind of how I felt last night. I was like, last night I felt like I I could have just turned the movies off and stuff, but I kind of was in a mood where I felt like I kind of need a little bit, my brain to be a little distracted. But I don't know from what, like where it was trying to go. But I don't know. I really don't think I felt like super stressed yesterday, other than before the interview and when I was waiting for the interview. But I did notice my energy did dip yesterday in the afternoon, so I pay attention to that kind of stuff. And it's normal if you wake up. I mean, I did wake up early yesterday, and I was awake probably like 20 hours or so. So that would make sense if my body was like, and my mind was kind of just overwhelmed with that. Like I managed it, but that's not usually how my days have been going. Like I'm rarely up that late these days, at the same time as being up that early. But I do definitely need to take better care of my sleep. Way better care of my sleep. I can't have that happening too many nights. The week before was terrible sleep. Like week 16 was rough with the menstrual cycle. Week 15 was rough with feeling just like exhausted and overwhelmed. I think still recovering from that class. So I really wasn't wanting to have this week where I'm skipping a lot of stuff or making a lot of mistakes. But it will happen. It does happen, It's almost like every hour to hour, it's like the decisions I know I'm going to make are going to affect the next couple hours. So I got to pay attention to that. I did think I was making the right decision with the caffeine, though, because that was for the interview purpose. If I didn't have the interview, I probably wouldn't have done that at all. I don't know how bummed out I am that the interview didn't happen. I'm kind of like annoyed. I guess maybe a little relieved that I didn't get like an outright rejection, but also kind of a little bit like annoyed for having to waste my energy. It wasn't energy waste. I did have to tailor my day to it, and it did affect my night because of that. So I've got like an awareness of some of yesterday's situations, but those were yesterday's. Like we're on a different day now, but I don't want too much of yesterday to affect my day today. So I'm probably going to stick to some kind of game plan. I don't know. I think I will sleep better though if I get in a better workout. I know that for sure. I know that I need a good workout so that I'll sleep good. So I don't know. But I'll figure it out. I don't really know what it's about to look like, but I'm about to figure it out right about now. I don't know. Sometimes I just like dancing workouts just because they're easy to do and they're good cardio and they're fun. But when my mood's kind of like this, kind of like sleepy, that's not an easy, like I kind of gotta have my energy in place to do something like that. So I don't know. I might be better off just doing some yoga and taking a nap and then having like a second workout when the gardeners come, even if it'll be hot near that time. Just trying to have a second workout when the gardeners come for the neighbors. Because at least I'll be able to get the workout in while something's happening. I'm not going to be able to rest during that time anyway, so I might just need to do it that way and just keep my morning kind of lower stimulation and try to rest. I don't know, even though I did have caffeine, that was maybe not too smartly timed, but I don't know, I'll figure it out. I don't know, because I've got some work I need to get done too, and I don't feel like my brain is even in a place where I can really get a lot of work done very good today, because I'm just kind of tired. Like, I don't want to waste the day. I do want to at least do the workout and the work that I had planned, but I don't want to waste the day. So, I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't help to not sleep good. That's kind of gonna be one of my worst enemies. Is if I don't sleep good, I'm kind of screwed for the next day. Because for me, caffeine only goes so far, and I can't ramp up the caffeine because the crash of C4 is just like so bad for me. It's not worth trying to like increase it. But yeah, like, I'm mostly just tired. I don't really feel bad per se. I'm just kind of tired, you know. I'm kind of sleepy. So I might just need to get a little more rest this morning, honestly. I don't want to, but that might be the best bet. Get a little more rest, and then see if that amount of rest kind of translates to a little more energy. Because it's still early enough, I can do a lot later on. So maybe just get some reading done. Get something done that's like partly productive. And reading some stuff I need to kind of read. So even if it's kind of boring, I'm gonna have some boring things to read. But I'm literally like struggling with yawning and stuff right now. Like I'm really tired. So I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of all hitting me. That's crazy. I'll figure it out. I guess we'll see what I end up doing.